Hello, Raider fans. This is Andrew Miller, voice of your Roane County Raiders, inviting you to join us for another action-packed week of Raider football on WVRC 104.7 FM. Last week, the Raiders hit the road for the final time in the regular season and picked up a huge victory over the number 6 ranked team in Class AAA North Marion, 14-6. This week, the Raiders are back home at County Stadium for another top 10 AAA team in the Vikings of Ripley High School. Raider football is brought to you by these community-minded sponsors: Roane General Hospital, McIntosh Hardware, Furniture and Appliance, Jack Garrett Ford, Ashley Insurance, S2F Construction, Joel Baker Law, PLLC, Paramount Surveying, Route 33 Steakhouse, Miller's Suds and Sales, Roane Self Storage, Crazy Little Mamas, APS, Air Production and Services Inc., Circle S Farms, Roane Jackson Technical Center, Old Fences Realty, Backwood Ramblings, Stats Pharmacy, Honest Fred's Flooring, D&D Motors, Hildreth Supply, Family Healthcare, Groves Auto, Ward Depew Realty, Penna's Barbershop, Norman L. Daniels State Farm Agent, Hardman Supply, ECI Environmental Compliance Inc., Carpenter's General Store, Mini Hamilton Health Systems, Poca Valley Bank, Spencer McDonald's, Rich Top Rentals, Spencer Cash Saver, Brandon Dental, DW Excavating LLC, Spencer Pizza Hut, Kirby Insurance, Calhoun Banks, and the Player of the Game Award, sponsored by Willard C. Starcher Auto Parts. Join us this Friday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 7:05 p.m. and kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. right here on your sports leader, WVRC 104.7 FM.
Since 2019, DW Excavating has been serving Roane and surrounding counties. We offer services including, but not limited to, repairing driveways, construction site preparation, drainage solutions, property brush clearing, farm road construction, culvert repair and installation, and utility line installation and repair. We provide free estimates. Check out our Facebook page or contact us at 304-532-2968 for more information. DW Excavating, taking pride in our work and in our community. DW Excavating is a proud supporter of all Roane County High School athletics. Go Raiders!
Good. Check. Chickadee check. Good evening. You know what, John Penna? What's that? I love it when technology works.
Absolutely.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Route 33 Steakhouse, and we are into John Penna, episode number 12 of the Raider Review. Nor can I. It seems just every year like it was yesterday when August came through and we started this up, although this is a new year for us as we have gone mobile. And we do thank, of course, my DJs up there at the radio station for keeping us on the air. Lauren is with us right now, and we are pulling double duty because we are having a good time here, John. A full house crowd here tonight for episode 12, coming off of that full house on Friday night that was here to cheer on the Raiders. That was a lot of fun to watch. We were talking with Jorge, and he was saying it was just crazy how much fun they had here. And, of course, it always helps when you play well in football and when you win on top of that. But we're also pulling double duty as fans here. We have got two things happening right now. We're watching people watching us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. People are listening to us on WVRC and WVRCFM.com. And on top of that, we're watching your son's college wrestling team right now take on the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Tyson's at Glenville State University. He's a wrestler, 125. He's a redshirt freshman, so he's not going to be wrestling tonight. But he's been giving it his all throughout the season so far, and he's there tonight, rooting on his teammates as they take on the West Virginia Mountaineers, which is crazy for me to even say.
Yeah, we were just looking at the 125-pound weight class, the match that just took place, and I said to you, does your son even have a clue how close he is to wrestling in the Coliseum?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it sinks in. Sometimes it doesn't sink in. He put so much time and effort into the sport and was able to get himself, to a D2 school. And me and his mom are so proud of him. but very cool. You know, I lived through him a lot because of the stories that he tells me and the grind that he has. I mean, it's an absolute grind for him. But, you know, it does a lot for him. It does a lot for his brothers as well. His brothers are constantly trying to work to get better because they want to outdo him. And, you know, it's pretty wild.
Well, he's given them something to strive for. Obviously, we're watching a really good match here right now. At 133 pounds, Glenville State's Hunter Ross ranked 11th nationally in Division II versus Jet Strickenberger for WVU, who's ranked 18th nationally in Division I. So it's just a neat thing. I'm kind of trying to – honestly, I'm not watching so much the actual match. I'm trying to find Tyson in the stands.
He's in there somewhere. He's around there somewhere. He sent me a video earlier, and of course, I talked to him today and told him, you know, if he sends some stuff, make sure he sends it to Taven because he's all about it. But yeah, last week Glenville State hosted an invitational, and man, they ran away with it last weekend. So, you know, we're still waiting on some NCAA stuff that's going to pan itself out, and then Tyson's going to be able to start wrestling in these opens.
I'm looking forward to that. I tell you what, folks, it is a big night here at Route 33 Steakhouse. You take a look up there at the front, and then if we swing it around, this is a full house here tonight. People have come out in droves. And, John, this is honestly what we've envisioned when we started doing this as a remote feed. And, of course, with Jorge and his crew pulling up our games on Friday nights, we were hoping that they would be packed house and just get that feeling of excitement for Roane County football and Roane County sports. And it is starting to really work, and I tell you what, it's fun.
That last week was super. I mean, you know, we would check in with the cam, and this whole place was full. Folks had signs. You know, Tony and Stephanie seems like they're our every week super fan. You know, Josh Downey getting in on the action as well. But yeah, it was a packed house, and it looks to be the same here this evening.
We've got a few things on tap here. Obviously, when we filter into the middle of November, early middle November, a lot of the fall sports are already concluded, and so a lot of things have been finished up, obviously. Of course, high school soccer has finished up. They just gave out LKC awards, by the way. And for Roane County, they had 5 on the LKC all-team list. Jimmy Lance and Kyan King, Brandon Charles as well, were named to the boys' second team. And then for the girls, Josie Cox and Addison Parkins making the second team all-LKC list for soccer. So congratulations to those youngsters.
Yeah, congratulations, Jimmy. Looks to be our 144-pounder this year for the wrestling team. Excited for him. He's a hard-working kid. Did cross-country as well as soccer and getting accolades in the soccer.
I want to say hi to everybody tuning in at the moment on all of our streams. Anthony Browning, how's it going, buddy? Don Sampson, I tell you what, they are super fans no matter where they are. He said, good evening and proud to be a Raider, 100%. It is a good time to be a Raider fan. Rob Taylor says, go Raiders. Christina Snyder-Schaefer watching. Thank you, Donald. We try the best we can. Sarah Hoff. Eric Hoskins watching, and Rodney Cox says, you are being joined by the legendary coach, Paul Burdett, here tonight. Now, I don't know if it's a legend in his own mind or if someone else has filtered that to him. We don't want to give him too much excitement yet.
Yeah, it's the night is still young.
Yes, Swolby is joining us too. Katie is not running the camera. It was actually Matt that came over. Because we've got it. Hey, will you check and see if I ordered Coach Burdett's meal?
I ordered it.
Did he already? I'm sorry, Coach. Oh, man.
Somebody's got to do it.
Oh, gosh, I should be fired. I should be fired. Well, we're going to take it off of Coach Paul Burdett for a bit while we are talking about the rest of Roane County sports. Also, we did have a representative, John, who we talked to last week. We had a representative at the state cross-country meet, and I tell you, that is the first time we've had a representative in quite some time. I would hearken back to maybe Caleb Pell. I don't know if he made it. And then before that, you're looking at like Stephanie Eastman, Justin Bossert, people like that.
Did they have cross-country back then?
I don't know. It was probably individual.
Maybe so. I don't know. But, yeah, Addie Taylor, right?
Addie Taylor, the sophomore, finished in 53rd place. And we always talk about that when you say, oh, 53rd, that's nothing. Well, there were 100 girls in that race.
Yeah.
So the sophomore finishing middle of the pack as a sophomore in her first ever trip to the state meet in Ona, West Virginia, the site of Cabell Midland High School. And I tell you what, that is just a really good start for her. and it gives her an idea of what she needs to do next year and the year after that. Because she does have goals set. She wants to make it into the top 10 and get on the podium.
Wow, that'd be awesome. And she's a worker. You know, she lives in town, and from my barber shop, I can see her every single evening. Seems like she's, jogging through town or getting some kind of work in. So yeah, I can see with her work ethic that she's those goals are right in sight.
Yeah, she is constantly running.
Yeah,
it's always nice to see somebody who's got that kind of energy, especially when it's you and me watching them.
It's been a while for me, bud. Been a while.
We do not have that level of energy. There are some things on the horizon. Before we get into, of course, last week's football game and the upcoming game this week, there are some sports on the horizon for us coming up. Winter sports are getting ready to start. Before I talk about that, though, I wanted to announce to everybody here live on the radio and on our streams that I have been asked to and have agreed to broadcast the LKC cheerleading championships.
Oh, wow.
So the LKCs are being hosted this year by Roane County High School. That'll be next Thursday at the Castle at Roane County High School, and it begins at 6 p.m., so WVRC will be covering the LKC Cheer Championships live.
That's very cool. So, along with the cheer theme, my wife went to the cheerleading competition for the middle school this past Saturday. And I believe Spencer Middle School, the Yellow Jacket cheer team, they finished 6th in the CWVAC, so they had a really good showing. I think they had 8 girls on the team. Sammy Lawson was the coach this year, so, Kristen being a boy mom, all 4 boys, she said that was a little out of her element there, but she went over and she watched and cheered on the cheerleaders, so that was really cool, and congratulations to them for a 6th place finish in the conference.
So other than that, all of the fall sports are finished, obviously, for Roane County High School, and so things will get going very quickly. It is they've had themselves a little bit of flex day opportunities in wrestling, basketball, boys and girls, but practice begins, and then the seasons are going to start for both boys, girls basketball, and Roane County High School wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling on the wrestling side, the youth Raider group of wrestlers, formerly known as the Little Raiders, formerly known as, one of those things. But yeah, the youth Raider wrestling team, they started out Monday. Looks like they had about 25 kids, and every kid that comes to the shop, I'm trying to, get them to go and check it out. So I may get a couple more guys going that way. Middle school, we've had some open mats, and we've had about 15 kids on tap. What we have signed up right now, we're looking at almost 30, if not 30, at Spencer Middle School Wrestling, and then the high school probably going to be somewhere in the mid-20s. So just continue to build on that, and looking forward to see what our wrestling program does. On the basketball side, I think the middle school practice or the tryouts for basketball starts this upcoming Monday, and then the high school is the following week. So
okay.
I talked to Cam Cumston today and was asking him, they're doing some flex day things, and he said that they're really, really working on conditioning because they're gonna put some run and gun stuff in on that offense. So it should be interesting. And he was bragging it up pretty good.
Well, we're going to get ourselves a brand new head coach this year for boys basketball, and of course this guy is so young that he just barely had his number retired a couple of years ago. Braden Miller is taking over the program after, of course, the 1 year that Coach Matt Peary took over to kind of keep some consistency there. And, of course, he took off. He's over at Ravenswood now. And so just recently, this past summer, Braden Miller is hired as the new head coach for Roane County basketball. On the girls' side, just a second year coming up for head coach Shandy White, and she's looking to build off what was a tremendous start to their season last year.
Yes.
And, of course, they had a tough run towards the end, but there's a lot of really talented girls coming back this year, so I know the expectations are high on the girls' side too.
Yep, expectations are high. Shandy really, really puts a lot into her off-season program. She's coaching volleyball as well, so her assistant coaches have done well through the spring, summer, and into the fall here to get the basketball team prepared. And I hear that Fred Hammock is going to be the assistant coach for Braden Miller at the high school.
Well, that would be cool to see, obviously. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Of course, Kayla Harris-Browning, Jake Watson is watching us, and he's here.
No, Jake's a fast eater. He's outside.
Did he leave? So it's just the two boys over there?
Those guys that are going to pay for our meal.
Yeah, let's real quick show this right over there. Let's go. Okay, you see off in the distance the blonde head?
You see that guy looks like Ric Flair?
Yeah, he looks like Ric Flair. Wave at us over there, you crazy guys. Tell Jacob that he's paying for my meal. Lane Watson and Jacob Greathouse coming here after practice and getting themselves a good meal. That's kind of nice to have. Those guys, integral parts of the victory last Friday night, of course, that we will talk about here in a little bit. Donna May said, all I want for my birthday this year is a Raider win against Ripley. Don't disappoint me, Coach Burdett. 50 is a big one. Yes, I said 50. So now you've got added pressure. I'm sorry, Coach. Added pressure to beat Ripley now.
Yeah, he said, what else,
What pressure?
Yeah, what about it? What about it?
Katie White tuned in. She's up there as well watching us. Elliot Miller, not my sister, Elliot Miller, Jace's father. Yep. And then Eliana Miller is also watching, the MVP.
She is the MVP.
She has always been the MVP.
Oh, man, do you remember when she would race?
All of our
She
kids.
would race our guys at the end of practice, and she would beat a lot of them.
Sorry,
Clay.
She beat all of them.
I'm sorry, Clay. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
It's all right, Clay. She was faster than all of you. And it's okay.
Oh, man, that was good.
All right, Lauren Stone Street tuning in says, hey, y'all. It's good to see everybody tuning in.
Lauren, I'm not going to say your nickname on the air, but I will say that you love Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Not Ohio State.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I think Coach Burdett will probably be close to finishing up his meal.
Bergen's not here today to help him
Bergen's
hammer those
not
French fries today.
Coach looks pretty hungry right now, so I'm happy he's had a chance to get all the food.
I wonder if he wants some ketchup with those fries there, fries with those ketchup. My gosh, he's knuckle deep in that ketchup.
We're going to do, when we come back, we will do a giveaway. We've got, of course, the WVRC can koozies to give away. And when we come back, I think it's going to be a question about Coach Burdett and his length of stay at Roane County High School. Stick around, folks. We will be back in just a minute. Hello, Raider fans. This is Andrew Miller, voice of your Roane County Raiders, inviting you to join us for another action-packed week of Raider football on WVRC 104.7 FM. Last week, the Raiders hit the road for the final time in the regular season and picked up a huge victory over the number 6 ranked team in Class AAA North Marion, 14-6. This week, the Raiders are back home at County Stadium for another top 10 AAA team in the Vikings of Ripley High School. Raider football is brought to you by these community-minded sponsors: Roane General Hospital, McIntosh Hardware, Furniture and Appliance, Jack Garrett Ford, Ashley Insurance, S2F Construction, Joel Baker Law, PLLC, Paramount Surveying, Route 33 Steakhouse, Miller's Suds and Sales, Roane Self Storage, Crazy Little Mamas, APS, Air Production and Services Inc., Circle S Farms, Roane Jackson Technical Center, Old Fences Realty, Backwood Ramblings, Stats Pharmacy, Honest Fred's Flooring, D&D Motors, Hildreth Supply, Family Healthcare, Groves Auto, Ward Depew Realty, Penna's Barbershop, Norman L. Daniels State Farm Agent, Hardman Supply, ECI Environmental Compliance Inc., Carpenter's General Store, Mini Hamilton Health Systems, Poca Valley Bank, Spencer McDonald's, Rich Top Rentals, Spencer Cash Saver, Brandon Dental, DW Excavating LLC, Spencer Pizza Hut, Kirby Insurance, Calhoun Banks, and the Player of the Game Award, sponsored by Willard C. Starcher Auto Parts. Join us this Friday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 7:05 p.m. and kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. right here on your sports leader, WVRC 104.7 FM.
Since 2019, DW Excavating has been serving Roane and surrounding counties. We offer services including, but not limited to, repairing driveways, construction site preparation, drainage solutions, property brush clearing, farm road construction, culvert repair and installation, and utility line installation and repair. We provide free estimates. Check out our Facebook page or contact us at 304-532-2968 for more information. DW Excavating, taking pride in our work and in our community. DW Excavating is a proud supporter of all Roane County High School athletics. Go Raiders!
Yeah, 141. Gavin Kiocho for Glenville State, John.
Yeah, Jordan Titus.
Wow.
It's a good match.
Now Kiocho, a 133 All-American and national champion, has bumped up to 141.
Well, he's working his way back down to 33.
Okay.
So, early in the season, these guys are wrestling up a weight class, it seems to be, but from what Tyson says, Gavin's working down to get down to 33. Good match here. Jordan Titus, very good wrestler for WVU as well.
And Titus was at 141 last year as well. Before we get to talking about anything football-wise, got a trivia question to ask the general public here. I don't know if everybody can hear me out there. Can everybody hear me? Everybody? All right, I got a trivia question, and you can win a WVRC koozie. It's awesome. They're high tech, I promise. All you got to do is be the first one to correctly answer this question. How many years has Paul Burdett been the head coach at Roane County High School? Anybody? Anybody?
You.
Somebody said 14. Who was it?
The guy on the back row.
Back row. Okay, 14 years. You want maroon or silver?
Silver, he said.
Silver? Okay.
Yeah.
That's maroon.
All right. Sorry, I got the wrong. Oh, is that maroon too? Thank you, Coach Burdett. I appreciate
welcome.
that.
I'm not.
I was trying to find the right colored ones. There you go, sir. Thank you very much.
I needed this last night.
Good.
Yeah, would have come in handy last night. Oh, man. So, 14 years
Man.
just to try to make Coach Burdett feel a slight bit older than he already does. But, yeah, it's been 14 years, and I'll tell you what, it's been a lot of good years in those 14. Wanted to say hi to a lot of other people tuning in, by the way, while I had a chance. Dakota Deaver is tuning in. Lauren Stone Street rolled her eyes about that team up north, by the way. Sean Black tuning in, as is Boo, Mario Sotomayor, Corey Mace. Hey, how's it going, Corey? And too many for Rodney Cox. Too many years, says Rodney Cox, by the way. And, Sarah, you were right, 14 years. Unfortunately, the rules state, as always, you have to be here to win. You've got to be here to win. Well, he should be in 6th. Did I get him right there?
Hello. Turn it up a little bit.
Hello.
Does he need a little more in his ears?
Hello.
There it is.
Oh, there he goes. Okay, the threshold was reached finally. Oh, a good match that we're watching here between Jordan Titus and Gavin Kiocho. Again, Glenville State going up to West Virginia. Of course, the connection there, obviously, the last few years is Dylan Cottrell, former Roane County High School football player for Coach Paul Burdett.
Yep.
And, of course, All-American wrestler and wrestled at West Virginia University, the first to ever win a Big 12 wrestling championship. Now he is in year number 4?
Year 4.
Year 4 at Glenville State. Won a title in conference last year. And they are ranked very high this year in not only the conference, they're picked as the number 1 team, but in the nation.
Yes.
They are already garnering some support. So good to see Dylan on video here, coaching up his team. And again, of course, your son Tyson is a member of Glenville State University's wrestling program, just a redshirt freshman.
Right. One of the things that Tyson talked about, when he first got to Glenville State and started his practicing and things, he said, we talk about national championships every day.
What is Burdett trying to do here?
I'm not real sure.
He's trying to turn
Is it
down.
too loud?
It's too okay. Well, I thought you said you couldn't hear. Now you're turning down your actual
His ears
sound.
are bleeding.
All right.
You said you couldn't hear there for a second. I don't know.
I heard the mouse run across the floor on the far side of the. Not that there's actually a mouse at the restaurant, but wow.
But yeah, they talk national championships every day. And that's one thing that Dylan's really put in, and he recruits hard, man. He's got some really talented guys that are starting right now for the Pioneers, and great things are going to come. He puts in so much work.
Well, speaking of Pioneers, we have a former Pioneer with us, Coach Paul Burdett. Coach, kind of neat to see, kids that you have coached, obviously, move up in their careers and in their lives. And you see Dylan Cottrell here as an adult. He's been coaching this Glenville State team now for his 4th year, and he's built that program so well. Did you ever doubt that with this kid, though?
No, not with Dylan. When Dylan was in high school, he was very driven, not only as a football player but as a wrestler, maybe even more so than football. Just because I think, wrestling was Dylan's sport, and that's what he was best at. Now, he was really good at football, so don't let me, I'm not trying to take you on the wrong way there.
He's an all-state football player.
Yeah, he was, and pretty good. I got a story I could tell, but it may ruffle some feathers, so I'll let it go. Sometimes you just don't kick it to that guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be a good idea not to.
Clay County.
Probably ought to let that go. Anyways, no, Dylan was always driven, and of course, left Rowan County High School and went to Appalachian State. Was down there for a couple years, and then ended up at WVU, and what a career he had there. Once he left WVU, I think he made a couple stops coaching. A little bit at WVU, I think, and then at Brown.
Yep.
Yeah, Brown.
And then, of course,
Rhode Island.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then got back to Glenville State, and man, he's done a tremendous job over there with that program. Started it right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Started
from
it.
ground up, and he's a powerhouse already. So congratulations, Dylan. Always good to see former Raiders making a difference, no matter where they're at.
Yeah, be it sports or whatever they're doing in their lives, and we've got a lot of those guys, a lot of those young men who played for you, and that's why I mentioned the 14th season that you have been at the helm here at Rowan County High School. And again, you started your career at Spencer Middle School for a couple years. Then you were a member of Coach Tom Hardman's staff before you were able to take over, and let's just say it's been a lot of really good years for you, but we come into this season, Coach, obviously expectations are once again high for you all, and each and every single week you just pick off a team, I don't think, though, even saying that we won those first few games, I don't think we really actually hit our stride, because I can say that I know the group that you have. I coached the seniors, the juniors, and the sophomore class that you have, and I'm thinking they have not put it together just yet. And then we were talking about that with Polka, and the first half that you all put together against Polka was so good, and I thought, okay, it can only get better from here. And then Logan shows up, and you do better in the first half against Logan. And then Mingo Central happens, and you just flat out dominate. All that said, last week you go on the road, you face a top 10 Class AAA team who was in the state championship last year against Fairmont Senior in Class AA, and lost by 1 point, 49-48. You know Coach Darren Hayes well. You guys have had numerous conversations over the years. He was incredibly, what would be the word to say, not just respectful, but he had a high praise.
Very complimentary.
Yeah, very complimentary of you and your program after that ball game. It was one that you knew was going to take everything you all had, and it did in the end. I continue to say this, and the only reason I say this offensively is I think that the only thing that really stopped us in that ball game was us. We had a couple of penalties at inopportune times during drives that took us out of opportunities. We had a fumble as we were driving down inside to the 20-yard line that ended a drive for us. We had an opportunity on a pass interference that we thought might have been called that did not get called, ended up finishing off that drive. So you look at all of those opportunities that you guys had offensively, and you just didn't get them. You got two, though, and that's all you need because your defense came to play.
Yeah, I talked to Greg Carey after the game, and he's talking about offense, and I said, I don't, at this point, I don't even know the stats, for the night, but I said, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the defense.
Yeah.
Our offense has been stellar, and that kind of gets all the attention, but man, what our defense has been able to do. I mean, we kept North Marion under 100 yards for the night, and honestly, if you don't have the first drive, the muff kick on the first drive, you may be closer to 50.
Yeah.
But, you know, our defense has been strong all year long. We've given up a total of 12 touchdowns this season in 9 games. So, you know, it's just a total team effort. And, of course, you know, like most small schools, the majority of the guys that are playing offense are turning around playing defense. So, you know, it's not like we're getting breaks and we're, you know, we're rested and ready to go when the defense rolls around. Those guys just finished an offensive drive. And, you know, they played kickoff, and now they're going to play defense. So, just super proud of the guys for Friday night and what they were able to accomplish and the way they were able to accomplish it.
We were talking on the way home from that ball game. You know, John and Matt were kind of looking at, you know, how the numbers shook down, and we found out that of the 100 yards or of the 90 whatever they had, we had them for 100 even. Some people had it for 92, so right around that mark. They said there was one play right after the fumble in that second half that's Mullet
35
reeled
yards.
off a 35-yarder, and then earlier in the first half, Morris broke free for about a 20-yard quarterback keeper. That's 55 yards on 2 plays.
2 plays.
So you're looking at that. You're talking about 45 yards the rest
And
of
I think
the game.
they had 26 plays total. Is that right?
Yeah, it was.
a
They were
quick-
20, upper 20s.
Yeah, it was a
we
quick.
owned the time of possession.
32 minutes to 16.
Yeah.
That's you know, you double up time of possession.
Yeah.
You know, and that takes you back reminiscent of 22. And we hadn't really,
John, I think, mentioned that. by the
we
way.
hadn't really stepped into that territory much this year. Maybe the first game of the year, maybe when we beat Shady with 36-12, 39-12, whatever it was. But you know, for the majority of the other games, I mean, it's just down the field and score, and I mean, and I know a lot of the games, even Mingo. I mean, we lost time of possession against Mingo. They had the ball way longer than we had it, but
Right.
you know, 2 plays and score, 3, 4 plays and score. So, but our style of offense allows us, if we need to do that, you know, own time of possession. Of course, the last drive was major in that time of possession. So,
We haven't seen a drive like that, as you mentioned, that significant and that long since 2022. And, John, that was the Sissonville game you said?
That was 19.
That was 19.
Was that 19 that happened?
We kept them out of the playoffs.
Yes.
Had a 96-yard drive, Danny Bush, and a whole lot of dose of Huffman on that.
yeah, well, if you remember one of the first plays, we ran a bootleg in the
Danny.
end zone, and
Yep.
Danny threw it to Austin Hawkins
Yep.
for about a 20-yard gain and got us out of the shadow of our own end zone.
hand on shoulder pad as he makes the turn.
Yeah.
And tosses the ball downfield. Yeah, huge play for that game. But,
Well, you know, that's something that that comes with the territory. If you play Roane County, you better be prepared that they are prepared. You guys are prepared. If you need to run clock and you need to sustain a drive, it's almost as if your program has built your kids to be prepared for that. It doesn't matter what class it is, what group it is. The front 5 that you guys had on that field Friday night in that fourth quarter did the exact same thing that the front 5 would have done in 22 and 19. They're different groups, but when it meant the most, they said, we are going to just do this, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, there's one constant on that line that was there in 22, and that was Noah Jett. He started on the line in 22, and he's still on the line right now. And it's funny because I told Greg Carey after the game when they downed the ball, I looked at Coach May and I said, what we need is a 9-minute and 29-second drive. That would be ideal. Not that I didn't think we couldn't do it, but that, you know, that's a shot. You
Yeah.
know, 9 minutes, you're taking the whole quarter.
And you
basically.
only went 58 yards on that drive.
So I started looking at it. I guess sometime on Saturday. I started looking at it. We were taking about a minute and a half every 10 yards.
Yeah.
At one point, we had went 40 yards and had taken almost 7 minutes off the clock.
Yeah.
So it just grind it out, man. And those guys up front, they know. We talk. Of course, you know, I that's my group now, and I've always been affiliated with the offensive line, but never has it been,
Yeah.
my group. And
Man, they've been impressive.
we tell those guys all the time, listen, you're not going to get the glory, you're not going to get your names in the paper, but when our running backs and our quarterback and our receivers are getting their names in the paper, it's because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they know that we don't go anywhere that they don't take us, and my goodness,
No line,
what a
no
drive.
shine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
What a drive.
Well,
Yeah.
I mentioned that. I talked to other people who I said it was late in the ball game. It was not even a scoring possession, I don't believe. It was a play where you all ended up with a big first down, and it was somebody that carried it. And I remember Coben Cottrell turning to the sideline, and he got more fired up than anybody because he got a block to spring a first down carry. And it just reminded once again us that this group is the most selfless group that we've ever seen. They do not care. And I mean literally, they do not care who scores.
Yeah, so
they could care less.
Let's go back and talk about that. I mean,
Yeah.
we obviously we're going to give our O-line praise and what they do, but those backs are blocking for each other too.
Yeah.
We try to on that drive. I mean, it was Lane, it was Shea, it was Clay, it was
Yeah.
Clay, it was Shea, it was Lane. Just trying to work them all up. Jacob got one in there on a bootleg.
Oh, man.
A huge play.
Yeah.
It was actually very huge because the play before we were watching the backside and there was not a soul home. And so we were like, all right. Jake said, I think the boot's there. I said, I think you're right. Let's try it. And the guy never moved. He was standing there waiting on him. Jake makes a great move, gets around him.
And then jump dives.
Well, he jumped out. Well, that was on our sideline.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
first
On the
one was
far
on the
side.
far side.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then we ran a pass and told him, unless it's perfect, don't throw it. Just get
Right.
what you can get and get down. And gets up in there. And Lane probably told him after the Logan game that he felt like when he jumped he was flying. And so Jacob decided to try it out. I don't know where that came from. That was the response I got from Lane when I asked him why he kept jumping against Logan. He said, I just feel like I'm flying. So,
Wow.
That makes sense now.
but anyways, just a full team effort, guys.
Yeah.
Faced
why I
faced a lot of adversity. Some inflicted on our own selves, some inflicted by North Marion, some inflicted by officials.
Right.
But to stay constant, to not get rattled, and to keep a level head and just stay resilient and just keep working was it was an amazing thing to watch from the sideline.
Yeah, I talked about it after the game. As a coach, you like some games like that, right?
Yeah.
Especially for a team that's preparing for the playoffs, to see how resilient you are, when things aren't going your way. And it always felt like, to me at least, that we were in control of the game for the most part. But, yeah, it's just one of those things that, things didn't go your way, but you bounced back. You had the long drive. Your defense played lights out. You didn't give up a ton of yardage. And you came out on top and beat a team that you had lost to the last two previous times.
Yeah, and they had lost earlier in the year to Lewis County, who we had just throttled, and but I told our guys, I said, listen, that was not the North Marion team that we're used to seeing that night, and only that night. I let them know early and often last week that Coach Hayes was going to have them prepared.
Yes.
When we got there, they were going to be fired up, ready to play a ball game.
Yep.
They had got some guys back off of injury, some big boys up front who
Right.
made a difference in their defensive scheme. So, we had a lot of small plays that made a big difference in that game Friday night. But we had two big plays that made even bigger differences, and I would be remiss if we didn't talk about those
Oh, yeah,
two plays.
that was coming next.
Yeah, so we get down close to the goal line there, somewhere in the near the end of the second half, right, or second quarter,
Right.
And we had ran a play-action play.
Try to get
They
Lane.
covered it really well. Lane made a huge play to take the interception away,
That was
Right.
big.
and
But it was setting up what you were looking to do.
it was kind of. That was kind of a on-the-fly decision because of what we had seen on that play.
Right.
We had seen the backside guy take off, and so we discussed it and said, hey, Coop, here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to say it on the air because it kind of goes –
Good idea. I've learned my lesson, Coach.
So, but anyways, yeah, it worked out perfect. Jake and Coop did a great job.
Man,
Huge
Coop
play.
sold it. He sold it
yes.
so well.
Yes, and made a great catch, got himself in the end zone. I think it was his first varsity touchdown.
Yeah.
Congratulations, young man. I've already told him that plenty, but say it on the air for him.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so the concentration, though, when the ball's up there, of course, you're there in the moment, the lights are up, and you're just like, it's slow motion.
Yeah.
And to concentrate, get the ball, get across the goal line, it was a great play.
And then so we get the extra point, which I got to brag on those guys as well. We focused on our extra points at practice this week because in the previous 2 games that we played against North Marion, they had blocked extra point kicks.
Yes.
And it cost us in the first one.
Well, how important was it to make that at the end of the
Huge.
first half and have the lead?
Have the lead and the momentum going in the locker room. Yeah. And we get in the locker room, and Lane said, hey, Coach, listen, on this play, I think if I keep it, it's open.
Okay, so that's where this came from. We had a question for you about that. Because we heard up in the booth, of course, we had Coach Greathouse, both Coach Greathouses up in the booth with us. And when the second big play that you mentioned, we've called it like just the count of the misdirection, scissors play, we always called that, And we had run that play 5 or 6 times, and we had run it in the second half, in fact, before on that drive, and handed it off to Shea, from that, what we call a double-barrel shotgun, which is fine with us. And then I think Jared it was that took his headset off. He's like, we didn't call that.
Yeah, I think Lane did it by
just did that
himself.
on his
No, he came to us at halftime. Him and Starch said, hey, I think if we do this, it's wide open. And we were like, well, it makes sense. It's probably fair.
Yeah.
And so we said, hey, if we get in the right situation, we'll try it. Well, they punted, and we were down deep.
Right, and you guys weren't in that offensive set.
No, we weren't.
Time.
We were in our regular set, and we worked the ball out and got in a little bit better field position, and we ran just a straight ISO basically, and then the next play, Coach May said, hey, they wanted it, and I said, okay, let's try
that fake, please.
Man, it was
everybody.
Beautiful.
All you would see from our side of the press box was the front of everybody's jerseys as Lane
11 black jerseys looking out.
As Lane is running up the sideline. It was great. It was such an awesome call.
Yeah, and it worked so well.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, John, you talked about stick-to-itiveness and not getting rattled in the moment, even if things aren't going completely well.
Yeah.
I thought that showed itself in multiple ways. The first way that it showed itself for me was a game-long situation for Colton Starcher. The first kick, it was a pooch kick over his way. He wasn't able to recover it. Obviously, that could kill a kid's confidence. What did he do after that? He just went nuts defensively after that. On special teams, on defense. He made one of the plays of the game, I think, when they took Poindexter in motion, sending back on the wheel route, and Colton jumps up and knocks that ball down because he had a half step on him, and it was a pretty good throw, but Colton made a great play there. I think about that. I think about the way he recovered and played that way. I think about the defensive effort of Lane Watson. He was flying around the field. He was reading things so well. He was in the backfield multiple times on a quarterback, on a running back, whatever it may have been. I thought that was huge. I thought Hogan Greathouse goes out with an injury, comes back in, and probably makes the hit of the ball game as he lit up a running back in the backfield. Things like that and the way your guys responded to adversity. I remember I said it to John as your guys are walking off the field at halftime. You had the momentum, number one, but your guys were firing up the crowd. There was like no question whatsoever, no matter what had happened to that point, that your guys were going to win that ball game.
Yeah, they just needed to get rolling. They need to get back and be confident. It's hard when you go on the road. You take a 2.5-hour bus trip, which we won't talk about.
We'll talk about that off the air.
And then you get there.
You got stories for days on that one.
You get there and you try to get yourself ready, and you got on the field, and the first thing you get is you think you're going to get the ball and do what you typically get to do each and every week, and then the ball gets turned over and your back's against the wall. You get a pass interference call that's not just not legit.
Questionable.
Yeah, I won't say questionable.
To be PC.
But anyways, and so you end up giving up a score, and then we get the blocked extra point, right? So the tides were turned a little bit, and so it took us just a little bit to get calm back down and as some of the young kids say, out of our fields a little bit, and just chill back out and get back to playing our football. And once we did, things went great. But you need those types of games. One of you guys said that. Definitely in the part of the season that we're in. And, let's face it, since Clay County, really, we hadn't played 4 quarters. And to go out there and to be tested for 4 quarters and to be able to withstand everything that North Marion was trying to give us, and just, man, it has played great defense Friday night and was just constant on offense.
Well, I mentioned in the intro, guys, I said that, and again, we don't really care much about this, but I like to wax poetic a little bit on those intros. And I said, no matter what Roane County has done to this point, they've garnered some respect around the state. People see Roane County's name. We're at the top of the charts year in and year out now. We're always making the playoffs. We've been in the quarterfinals a couple of years. I said, but true respect is never going to be earned by at least the people out and about until you finish off something big. And I said, whatever that big thing means, whether you make it to a state title game or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I said, but one way that Roane County can garner some respect is going on the road against a pretty good powerhouse that was in the state title game last year and getting a victory. And so that happened, and immediately Greg Carey writes a story about it that night because he was covering that game. But then he writes another story, and he's one of the best high school sports writers there are. He works for Metro News. And so you get a little bit more of that clout amongst people. That comes with a double-edged sword. Even more people looking in like, I want a shot at Roane County. So from here on out, you've got a game this Friday coming up we'll talk about. Obviously, you guys have made the playoffs. We'll not worry about anything that happens with that, but you've put yourself in a prime position here to take a big step here on Friday night to where you want to be, which would be home field throughout the playoffs. And that's an opportunity that you guys have on Friday night. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to send it away. John, while we're on break, you got to think of a trivia question for us. What do you say, buddy?
Okay.
Can you do it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll break away. We'll talk about the upcoming game against Ripley in a sec.
Hello, Raider fans. This is Andrew Miller, voice of your Roane County Raiders, inviting you to join us for another action-packed week of Raider football on WVRC 104.7 FM. Last week, the Raiders hit the road for the final time in the regular season and picked up a huge victory over the number 6 ranked team in Class AAA North Marion, 14-6. This week, the Raiders are back home at County Stadium for another top 10 AAA team in the Vikings of Ripley High School. Raider football is brought to you by these community-minded sponsors: Roane General Hospital, McIntosh Hardware, Furniture and Appliance, Jack Garrett Ford, Ashley Insurance, S2F Construction, Joel Baker Law, PLLC, Paramount Surveying, Route 33 Steakhouse, Miller's Suds and Sales, Roane Self Storage, Crazy Little Mamas, APS, Air Production and Services Inc., Circle S Farms, Roane Jackson Technical Center, Old Fences Realty, Backwood Ramblings, Stats Pharmacy, Honest Fred's Flooring, D&D Motors, Hildreth Supply, Family Healthcare, Groves Auto, Ward Depew Realty, Penna's Barbershop, Norman L. Daniels State Farm Agent, Hardman Supply, ECI Environmental Compliance Inc., Carpenter's General Store, Mini Hamilton Health Systems, Poca Valley Bank, Spencer McDonald's, Rich Top Rentals, Spencer Cash Saver, Brandon Dental, DW Excavating LLC, Spencer Pizza Hut, Kirby Insurance, Calhoun Banks, and the Player of the Game Award, sponsored by Willard C. Starcher Auto Parts. Join us this Friday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 7:05 p.m. and kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. right here on your sports leader, WVRC 104.7 FM.
Since 2019, DW Excavating has been serving Roane and surrounding counties. We offer services including, but not limited to, repairing driveways, construction site preparation, drainage solutions, property brush clearing, farm road construction, culvert repair and installation, and utility line installation and repair. We provide free estimates. Check out our Facebook page or contact us at 304-532-2968 for more information. DW Excavating, taking pride in our work and in our community. DW Excavating is a proud supporter of all Roane County High School athletics. Go Raiders!
comes to our comeback music. John, it is loud.
It's quite loud.
I mean, it's not so loud for the people who are watching and listening. But boy, is it loud in our ears.
That just means that Paul's going to talk louder at home. Sorry, Inge.
I already talk loud.
Oh, we know.
Watching an opportunity here right now. Again, we've been watching the WVU Glenville State wrestling match, the duel that's going on up at the Coliseum. And, of course, Dylan Cottrell, head coach at Glenville State, in year number 4, getting year number 4 started. They are ranked number 1 in the MEC, and they are the defending champions in the MEC, and they are ranked nationally as well. And the guy, DeLeonardis, right now is up on his opponent for WVU, and that would be the first points for Glenville State. And again, not only Glenville State with Dylan, but your son Tyson, a redshirt freshman up there, and he is at that match, hanging out.
He's there, hanging out, sending us some photos, and he and Taven are talking back and forth. Of course, Taven's got some guys that he really likes on both squads, on Glenville State and WVU. So.
All right, well, before we talk about this Ripley game, we got another giveaway for those who are out there who are watching. So John Penna is going to ask a trivia question.
All right, trivia time. If everybody's out there listening, they can hear me. So Dylan Cottrell, former high school football player for Roane County and a 4-time state champ. In the state tournament in the 4 years, how many points did Dylan Cottrell give up? How many points were scored on Dylan Cottrell?
In 4 years at the West Virginia State Wrestling Tournament, how many points did Dylan Cottrell give up?
I know.
Anybody?
Who said it? Anybody?
Anybody?
That guy's right there in the blue shirt.
Blue shirt.
He said 0. Come over here, blue shirt, and get your prize. What color do you want? Oh, that's Matt White.
Oh, that's Matt White. You can feel free to give it out to anybody if you've already got one.
Take one and then give it to somebody over there.
Maroon or silver?
We gave away a silver.
Yeah, we gave it with silver and all way. So,
all
yeah,
right.
I tell you what a feat. People have asked about that, and I mean people throughout the state have asked, is that the first and only time that's ever happened? No one has ever said that somebody else has done it.
Right, yeah. Anytime that you have Roane County gear on and you're at a wrestling tournament and they're like, Dylan Cottrell, is it true that nobody ever scored on him? And you know what? Look.
Yep, they're showing
the guy.
Some pictures of Dylan in his Mountaineer wrestling singlet, 3-time NCAA qualifier, Big 12 champion. I tell you what, he's got the Fabio hair starting to build up here.
Yeah, Tyson was telling me that he was growing it out there a little bit because I offered to go over and be the team barber for those guys. Hey, another great West Virginia 4-time state champ, Dutton Award winner is Peyton Hall from Oak Glen, the Golden Bears.
Now we would hold that against him. How about that?
He's a pretty good dude, though.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So, Coach Burdett, we are on the precipice once again of another Friday night. Again, you got that big one under your belt Friday night last week. As you told me, though, and as you said to me, every one of them are big because it's the game you're playing right now. You come off of a top 10 ranked team in Class AAA, and you go right into a top 10 Class AAA ranked team. Now, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. This is a team in the Ripley Vikings that the number you have had for the last few years, but as you've always said, those are the last few years. This is a team riding high, playing well, obviously. They've got talent. They've got speed on the edges. They got a really good quarterback who can do it both ways with his feet or with his arm in Pritt, and you've got Noah Casto coming out of the backfield as a tremendous runner. This is going to be a very big challenge for your guys.
It is. I think Ripley's got a really good football team. They've played great football all year long. Only losses have come to Hoover and Nitro, and combined they have one loss.
Yeah.
So these guys have played great ball. They do it on both sides of the ball. They do it in the special teams. They got a really good kicker. He's made several field goals throughout the season. Does a great job kicking the ball down the field on the kickoff team. Defensively, they fly the ball. They're aggressive. Offensively, they can throw it. They can run it. They can razzle-dazzle you, whatever it is they want to do. They've been capable of doing it throughout the season. And, we're going to have to play really good football Friday night. We're going to be very disciplined. And it's going to be a ball game. There's no doubt about it.
Size, they're pretty good sized guys across the front too, and they're athletic pretty much everywhere. So
I think it wouldn't hurt the fact that you guys saw last week a very large and athletic front four on defense, and on offense a lot of those guys played both ways. I was looking at it, and I was looking at the roster number. I was like, man, these guys do not look like just heavy linemen. These guys look like athletes.
Yep.
And many of them were like, 6'2", 6'3", 240, 50, 270, and you guys were able to handle that very nicely. It's good to see that you guys don't just overpower people. You can move quickly. You got good lateral movement from your front five. They can get in ahead of blocks.
Yeah, our guys. Listen, it's when I took over as the offensive line coach, I knew the style of ball that we had played, and the style of ball that we were going to play this year, and I knew that week in, week out, we could not predict what type of defense we were going to see. Yeah. You could get a 5-man front, a 6-man front, 8-man front. I mean, it could be anything. And
talk about that 9-1-1 defense.
So we line up. We try to show our line guys what we think they may see. Just judging and based off of film that we've been able to see, what front they're going to see each week. But after we do that a little bit, we start mixing in just a smorgasbord of defensive fronts. And these guys have seen it all year long. The guy in the middle that makes the majority of the calls, Colton Elliott, very smart young man, and he's, as most people know, that center's got to be the quarterback of the offensive line, and he's directing traffic up there, and not to take away from the other 4 guys, because they're pretty cerebral about what we're doing as well, and they're able to see the lineups. They're able to make their calls, and the majority of the time they're right. They're not perfect all the time. They make mistakes, as all of us do, but they typically put themselves in the right positions to make the blocks that need to be blocked on the plays. We're not the biggest offensive line by any stretch. Pretty good size, but we are. I think we're pretty physical, and I think they like being physical. And I think they like when the other team tries to be physical back. They see it as a challenge, and we saw that last Friday. And I said this, I don't know if I said it to you guys or if I was talking to somebody else, but they're kind of like sharks.
Smell blood in the water.
They get a little bit of blood in the water, and man, it's like a frenzy. And if they can get you moving backwards a little bit.
Next play. Next play.
On.
And you can see that in the game against North Marion. They came out fired up, ready to go. And it was like that somewhat with Mingo in the beginning part, guys getting up, pumping their chest. But then you just started to see the maroon just wash that all away. Yeah. And that's why I'm so impressed with the O-line. As a running back ourselves, you can't run if the guys aren't blocking for you. So just overall very impressed with how our offensive line does. And I think this week is going to be the same. I think that these guys are going to be up to the challenge. I think that they're looking forward to probably playing a cross-county rival.
Yeah, it's kind of the end of the run for us in Ripley. I think they're in the Cardinal Conference now, and they just kind of ran out of open spots to put us, and so when we finish up tomorrow night or Friday night, that'll probably be the end of it for a little bit. And but we've got another big challenge Friday night. All the way around. Ripley, you don't become a top 10 AAA team just by showing up.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
And these guys have worked hard. There's new coaching staff over there, and they've got them going in the right direction. They're doing the right things and got these guys believing in themselves again. So, hopefully we can get the job done Friday night, do the things we need to do to make that happen. And we shall see. That's why they play the ball game, but definitely going to be a tough one.
Well, what I love about this group's mentality right now is they accept and revel in all challenges coming their way. This is a group that's, honestly, early in the season we were like, are they fully focused? Because, they were just running roughshod over people, and we're just waiting for that, whatever that switch to flip. And I think it started to flip, of course. Braxton County was one of those games that you just expected to run roughshod. They did. But then the Poca game happened, and you saw just how the execution went and how the excitement and intensity was there, and it just kept building from that point on. And last week was just another one of those reminders to you and I, John. We've been around this group all their lives, and especially the senior class, and we know that they get up for these big games. And just watching the way they attack defensively, the way they just punished offensively, each one of them running as hard as they've ever run, the lead blocking, all the fire and energy and intensity. We're like, oh, yeah, that's right. These guys are who they are, not to steal that one from the Chicago coach. Again, we've been around this group a long time, Coach, and, of course, obviously, there's a little bit more to be said about the senior group coming up this Friday night.
Yeah, it's senior night Friday night. We got 9 football seniors and a water girl, who happens to be mine. But just been a tremendous group of guys, and have been a joy to coach for 4 years. They're going to leave a legacy at Roane County High School. It's just no matter how you cut it, this group of seniors they're going to leave a lasting legacy, and one that'll be chased probably for a long time.
Yeah.
My hat's off to them, and we don't do things the easy way at Roane County High School. That's not how I believe in doing things. I think you gotta get out and earn everything that you get, and that starts in the summertime at 7 a.m. lifts. While their friends, or maybe they got a job, maybe they're hanging out in bed, they're resting.
Yeah.
Those guys are out there ready to go at 7 o'clock. So most of them are showing up, 7:40 or 6:40, 6:45, and we're typically there. If it's a lifting day and conditioning, then we're there about 10:30, and if it's a practice day, then it's about 11:30. And we're going to compete on Fridays and Saturdays, and that goes all summer long. And there's a high rate of work that goes into it, but it's a high rate payoff if you make it right.
And it has been.
In these guys' careers at Roane County High School, it has paid off in the biggest way possible. Unbelievable. If you would have told me when I took over as head coach in 2011 that at one point in time during my career as head coach, I'd have a group of kids who could possibly finish their final regular season game at 37-3.
Yeah.
I just don't know that I would have believed you, and that's not because I wouldn't want to. It's just looking at our past and where we had been, it just wasn't what had been done here, consistently anyways. But man, we've had such a major buy-in really since the 17 season. 11 through 16, we had some good seasons, and those guys played hard and worked hard just the same as these guys have, but we were up against it. You had Fairmont and Bridgeport. And let's face it, in 13 and 16, we went to Bridgeport for the first round of playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Spencer is Spencer, and Bridgeport, Roane County is Roane County. All right, and Bridgeport has 5 exits on the I-79.
Yeah.
Okay, and I said for years there's no way that any school should be in AA that has 5 exits on I-79.
That's crazy.
But 17 we went 0-10 with a bunch of pups. And then we started building back in 18. We were as low as you could get in the week 2 of 2019 when Alex passed away. I mean, whatever could happen to a program can't get any worse than that, in my opinion. our guys, because of the love and the brotherhood in our program, they were able to respond and go out and honor Alex the following week and get a big win against Braxton County and continue to do that throughout that season. And then, of course, COVID was COVID, and you can't put anything into that, man. We were set to have a great season, and then, you get the COVID stuff, and then you break 2 collarbones within 16 plays of each other. But, man, 21, and I told those guys at that time, we lost to Lincoln County in just a mess of a ball game. First half, 5 turnovers.
Yep.
And, man, we come out in the second half and just explode, and we get it back. And I still think Breyer was in the end zone. At least half of his body was.
Yeah.
But I told those guys after that season, I said that, and I told a lot of reporters, I said, these guys have reset the foundation for Raider football. And moving forward, it will not be what it has been. And
you're right,
man.
even to beyond your imagination when it was coming.
Yeah. So what a run these guys have had. I'm so proud of them. But the best part about it is we're not done.
Yeah.
And these guys believe in each other. They believe in the program. They believe in what we do and how we do it. And we finish off Friday night, and hopefully we can be good enough to go beat Ripley. It won't be easy, but hopefully we can get that done. And then we turn our sights on a state playoff run. The goal's December 6th.
Yeah, that is the goal.
That's a lofty goal. There was a time where we didn't talk about playoffs at Roane County High School.
Yes.
And once we started making the playoffs, it was just, man, hey, let's get in the playoffs.
We were happy to be there.
That was really cool. Let's go back. And then in 2010 we won one, and then 2011 we hosted one.
Yep.
And then 21 we won another one, and we dang near won a second one against arguably maybe the best team in the state that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 22 we won one, and we lost to just a nail biter to North Marion. That would have put us in the semifinals in 22. And then, last year we go 9-1, and it didn't finish the way we wanted to finish last year, and it stung.
And that's something I think that you've utilized with this group. You said you remember that, right? You remember how that season ended last year. You don't want that, right?
Right.
And I think these boys have responded to that.
It's been a driving force for the kids, and it's been a major driving force for our coaches as well. I told each and every one of those guys when I met with them last year, the returners, I said next year will not be the same as far as coaching goes. Yeah. And man, they've worked their tails off, and it's proven it. They've proven what they can do when you do that, and it's been really fun. The fun's not over. But definitely come out and honor these seniors Friday night. Yes. They're so deserving. They need a huge round of applause from everybody in attendance Friday night because of what they've been able to accomplish here at Roane County High School.
They're going to do some senior festivities before you guys go out and warm up for the game, and then I assume you guys will honor them on the field before the game. And again, it's
5:45.
5:45.
6:45. I'm sorry.
Okay,
6:45.
Yeah.
Be all the
seniors. All the fall seniors. Yeah.
It's going to be an electric atmosphere, folks. Ripley is riding high right now. They are going to the Class AAA playoffs. They're jacked about it. They've got a team in Roane County that would provide them with a whole lot of points. They're going to bring the crowd over as well, so we've got to match and exceed that here at a home game.
Please don't let Ripley bring more people than we have.
Yes.
Don't do that. Yeah, I know we're streaming. It's going to be a beautiful night. If you haven't been in years, get to County Stadium Friday night.
Please do.
Get there and just be a part of what these guys are doing.
It is going to be an electric atmosphere. It's going to be a
playoff
atmosphere. So please come watch the game. Be there in person. If you want to listen to the broadcast, you can do that. If you want to watch it, you got your phone right there. Go home and watch it like Doug Walker does every night.
I challenge them to make it the largest crowd ever at County Stadium.
I'd love to see it wall to wall, full.
Yeah.
It's never happened. I've been there for approximately 95% of the game.
Probably one of the biggest ones that comes to my mind was the Oak Glen side of things for us. Oak Glen, we had people lined up everywhere. That was a huge one, home playoff game, first one in our history.
Wow.
But Ripley's going to be bringing folks over. It's going to be a big game for Ripley as well. So, let's challenge it. Let's surpass the challenge, just like we did last week with Route 32.
Challenge your friends, family, neighbors. I don't care, your mortal enemy. Tell them to get up there. You'll fight in the stands. I don't care what it takes. Get people out to this ball game. We would love to have
Goodson will be busy.
We'd love to have very low numbers on our streams this time because we would love to see a lot of people packing the stands for senior night, the final regular season game of 2024 for Roane County, the final home game of the regular season for Roane County in 2024. You mentioned it, Coach Burdett, that it's going to be good weather, so let's flip your hat over to meteorology again.
Yeah, rain, which we need horribly bad. I'm on that farmer side of it. Rain tonight, rain tomorrow, and a little bit maybe tomorrow night. But man, it's gonna clear out. Friday's gonna be like upper 60s. Wow. Beautiful, great football weather. You couldn't ask for any better on November the 8th, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. 2 years ago on November 8th, it was the first round of playoffs, and it was raining, and it was about 33 degrees and just a
windy,
atrocious day.
Oh, man.
But it was a good one because we beat Weir.
Yeah,
so
that was the only good part
That
about
was
it.
good.
It was freezing that day.
Yeah, it took me 3 hours to thaw out when I got home.
Again, it is 7:30 p.m. for the kickoff. It's senior night, so seniors for the fall sports are going to be honored before the football game as well. We invite you to come out and really cheer on this Roane County football team as they look to go 10-0, undefeated for the regular season, for a rarity in history for Roane County. We're looking forward to it, folks. We hope that you all as well are looking forward to Friday night football for Roane County. John Penna, you always get the final word.
Hey, listen, it's the same thing. We challenged you guys. Please step up. Come support this unbelievable football team, this unbelievable group of seniors. It's been a fun ride to watch these guys grow up, and looking forward to see what they do Friday against a cross-county rival.
100%, folks. We'll be on the air with pregame coverage at 7 o'clock p.m., 7:30 kickoff on Friday night. It is Roane County versus Ripley. For all of us here at WVRC, got to thank DW Excavating, Doug Walker and his crew. They are our exclusive sponsor every single year for the Raider Review, even if our sign is falling down once again. And, of course, thanks to Route 33 Steakhouse, Jorge and his crew, for allowing us to come here and invade every single Wednesday. We've created a tradition here. We hope that lives on as well. For Coach Paul Burdett, John Penna, and the rest of us here at WVRC, I'm Andrew Miller. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday night.